Taylor and Blake are friends again. So the only real reason would be to get the story out there.
Blake Lively and Taylor Swift's perfect friendship? Yeah, turns out it's more like a perfect illusion, because behind those adorable selfies and sugary birthday posts, a seriously disturbing truth has been bubbling under the surface. And y'all, it's way messier than we ever imagined.
She's my beautiful little monster. Sometimes I have to release these little monsters on the world.
What the world thought was a flawless Hollywood sisterhood is now unraveling into a giant web of manipulation, betrayal, and, oh yeah, legal chaos. We're not just talking little arguments here. It's a full-blown war behind the scenes.
It's like it's Taylor Swift. He feels there's an implicit threat here. Like, this is a dragon that can kill you. So be very careful, here's my pet dragon.
All those red carpet hugs, the sideline giggles at the Super Bowl, the matching energies at concerts. Turns out it wasn't real friendship. It was staged. A pretty little Instagram-ready fantasy designed to keep us all fooled. And wow, we ate it up.
She claims he sexual harassed her, and then by the time they premiered the movie, they weren't even speaking to each other. She made him stay in the basement, and Ryan Reynolds turned on him too. And then she claimed that he unleashed a bad PR campaign against her.
Blake and Taylor, the dream team of pop in Hollywood, oozing cozy girl boss vibes, supporting each other while the world cheered them on. But behind that carefully curated dream, a different story entirely, one nobody dared whisper until now.
Taylor felt that's kind of weird to say about a friend. It's weird to call a friend a dragon. And, Blake tried to say in her text message something like, these two are my dragons. They stand up for me when I can't stand for myself.
Because insiders are spilling tea. And let's just say, this wasn't some organic ride or die friendship. Nope, it was calculated, controlled, maybe even strategically used. And the worst part? We believed every second of it for almost a decade.
We had a lot of question marks about why that was. And again, just her particular flavor and style.
Fast forward to now, it's not just a friendship on the rocks. It's a legal battlefield with lawsuits flying around like dodgeballs. Five lawsuits. This ain't gossip anymore. It's a war zone.
Also, it says here that the CRD didn't actually fact check the complaints to see if it was actually true. They didn't look into anything. They didn't investigate anything.
Blake Lively, she filed legal action against Justin Baldoni, accusing him of unwanted behavior and retaliation.
On Blake Lively's claims that she was allegedly harassed by this guy when they shot the movie, It Ends With Us, a film about domestic violence.
Blake Lively sued Justin Baldoni for sexual harassment and retaliation.
Did they do that to their own daughter? Silent treatment? Gaslighting, doing the golden child thing where one child, okay, I'm pushing off attention from that one child and putting it on another.
Baldoni, he fired right back with a countersuit for damaging his reputation.
This is around the same time that he's making quotes that we have here saying that he's too big to fail at this point, and he just crushes his enemies and drinks their blood.
And if that wasn't messy enough, Ryan Reynolds got dragged into it too. And then the production company jumped into the fray. And guess who's stuck right in the middle? Taylor Swift herself.
This is around the same time that he's making quotes that we have here saying that he's too big to fail at this point, and he just crushes his enemies and drinks their blood.
Because Blake, sweet, innocent Blake, referred to Taylor as one of her dragons. And y'all, it wasn't a compliment. It wasn't cute. It was strategic. In private texts revealed in Baldoni's legal documents, Blake made it clear Taylor's mega-famous reputation was being used as a weapon, a human wrecking ball to smash through obstacles.
Threatened, you could say, Justin Baldoni, calling Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds her beautiful little dragon monsters that she sometimes has to use.
And here's the part that makes your jaw drop. Taylor had no clue. She thought she was just hanging out with a friend. No drama, no legal plot twists, just casual bonding. Except that hangout, it turned into legal evidence without Taylor even realizing it.
Was because he was terrified of Taylor Swift. He was terrified of Taylor Swift. You don't want to go up against Taylor Swift when you are a guy, okay? Because she can ruin you. She can literally ruin you. She has these fans who hang on every single word that she sings.
Sources told News Nation and Page Six that Taylor was furious. She felt betrayed. She didn't sign up for this circus. She never agreed to be a star witness in a legal firestorm she didn't even know existed.
It says Taylor Swift is taking a step back from her friendship with Blake Lively after feeling like she was used.
And get this, it wasn't just one isolated incident. Multiple insiders claim Blake had been quietly name-dropping Taylor for months behind the scenes, pressuring studios, influencing deals, basically using Taylor's name like a golden ticket.
An intimidation tactic by the actress in a lawsuit that she never wanted to be embroiled in.
Shocking, right? Taylor's music allegedly helped elevate the movie It Ends With Us. There's even buzz that Taylor's influence may have helped cast Isabella Ferrer.
An insider told the Daily Mail. Her friends also think that Blake's "I'm Khaleesi and like her, I happen to have dragons" text to Justin was uncool and unnecessary.
And through it all, Taylor had no idea she was being turned into an unofficial co-producer of the film, with zero paycheck, zero say, and zero clue.
As we know, she used her music. Taylor even played a part in auditioning Isabel Ferrer, as we know now.
So what did Taylor do? She pulled back. She pressed pause. Because when your so-called bestie is using your name like currency without your consent, it's not friendship, it's betrayal.
Announcing that her and Blake are taking a break. They're no longer friends because, shocking, Taylor Swift feels used. She always feels used.
But wait, there's more. A YouTuber named Chashi Flo recently dug up the original complaint Blake filed with California's Civil Rights Department. And here's where it gets even shadier.
Were definitely true. The lawyer said that Blake believed them to be true. And that is a legal way to avoid being accused of lying under oath.
Blake didn't directly say the allegations were facts. She said she believed them to be true. That one tiny word, believe, is a sneaky legal loophole to protect herself. Because if anything turns out false, she can avoid serious consequences.
She didn't state this was true. She said she believed it to be true.
Yeah, 5 years. That's how long Blake could face behind bars if her claims were proven to be false without that soft legal language. No wonder everyone involved is now walking on eggshells.
But also the way she used Taylor to pressure Sony, I think, to get everything that she wanted.
So what's left now? A friendship built on smoke and mirrors. A massive lawsuit mess where Taylor Swift went from ride or die bestie to an unwilling chess piece in a brutal game. And a level of manipulation so deep, it makes reality TV look like child's play.
Taylor has politely backed away from it all. She is conscious of her own image and hates that she was even mentioned.
This isn't just a story about two friends drifting apart. It's the complete collapse of a brand. Because that's what this friendship was, a brand, built with picture-perfect brunches, perfectly timed Instagram posts, and carefully staged support your bestie moments. And now, it's crumbling in front of our eyes.
She can't always be being used. I'm sorry. It's been like 20 years of her being used, and I don't feel that that is the true story, okay?
But first, let's talk about how Taylor Swift ended up tangled in 5 lawsuits without even committing a single crime. Her only mistake? Being friends with Blake Lively. That's it.
First and foremost, because it is just Taylor's modus operandi to constantly say that she's being used and she doesn't know how she got here, blah, blah, blah.
Taylor never signed a deal. She never agreed to shady business moves. She didn't even post anything remotely sketchy on her socials.
Okay? What do you mean you showed up and the meeting was still going on? What does that mean? What does that? I showed up and the meeting was still going on. So what are you being victimized by?
All Taylor did was show up to Blake's house, sip some wine, maybe text something cute like, "Love you, my dragon sister." And boom, now she's a potential star witness in one of Hollywood's messiest legal disasters.
Justin Baldoni, in his lawsuit, stipulates that Taylor Swift peer pressured him, and she's not denying that in this article. She's not saying, "I didn't speak to him, I said nothing," which I would be like, "Oh, you just used me as an intimidation tactic."
And yep, you heard right. Taylor Swift has officially been subpoenaed. She's set to be deposed this summer by none other than Justin Baldoni's legal team.
Baldoni said that she specifically spoke up about how much she loved the script, which implies to me that unless Taylor Swift is a liar, she read the script.
That's right. Taylor Swift, who can sell out stadiums in seconds, is about to be grilled in a cold, sterile room because her supposed bestie used her name like a legal grenade. Sources told News Nation that Taylor is beyond annoyed. She's livid. All she wanted was a chill hangout, not a courtroom nightmare.
He is saying that she then went and heaped praise on Blake Lively's version of the opening scene. That's what his lawsuit states. This is when they were talking about that rooftop scene.
And honestly, same girl, same. When you visit a friend, you expect snacks and bad movie recs. not getting roped into overlapping lawsuits involving claims of misconduct, defamation, and broken contracts.
So unless Blake gave her the nudge and said, can you go in there, in which case Taylor Swift is still responsible for having peer pressured him, then there's no deniability here.
Now, Taylor's name is scattered across these lawsuits like confetti at one of her concerts, and it's not because she did anything shady. It's because Blake dragged her into the chaos without her consent.
Whenever Blake needed an excuse, it was literally like, oh, I got strep throat. The kids are sick.
Remember that civil complaint Blake filed last year? Well, spoiler alert, Blake didn't even file it herself.
So Blake Lively didn't file this complaint herself. Her lawyer did it for.
It was filed by her lawyer, Ezra Hudson. Not illegal, but when you look closer at the phrasing, things start getting sketchy.
And instead of saying that the claims were definitely true, the lawyer said that Blake believed them to be true.
Blake didn't straight up say the accusations were facts. Nope. She said she believed they were true. Careful, deliberate wording to protect herself if things went sideways.
That is a legal way to avoid being accused of lying under oath.
Because if this ever ends up falling apart in court, Blake can just say, well, that was just what I believed at the time, and walk away free. It's a legal tightrope act. Classic Hollywood damage control.
That's the complaint that ended up being an article basically in the New York Times in the end of December. So that's where all of this started, and a lot of people thought, that was a lawsuit, but it wasn't. It was just a complaint that was sent to California Civil Rights Department.
And it gets even shadier. Blake actually refused an investigation into her claims. She literally checked the box saying, no thanks to the California Civil Rights Department investigating further. Who does that if they want real justice?
Blake also refused an investigation. She actually chose for the CRD not to look into any of her claims. She didn't want them to look further into anything or investigate anything.
Instead, Blake took her uninvestigated complaint, handed it straight to the New York Times, and let the media do all the dirty work. No legal follow-through, no due process. Just a giant public relations bomb dropped at Justin Baldoni's feet.
Well, the CRD didn't send this complaint to the people that are involved. They didn't send this complaint to the Wayfarer or to Justin Baldoni. They didn't send it to anyone.
To be clear, the complaint wasn't even formally served to Baldoni or the production company. That's how vague and passive the whole thing was. It was never about real justice. It was about headlines.
It says here that the CRD didn't actually fact-check the complaints to see if it was actually true. They didn't look into anything. They didn't investigate anything.
Oh, and the document? It wasn't even signed by Blake herself. It was signed by her lawyer. Strategic legal moves everywhere, and none of them look good.
So her follow-up text, which reads like a psycho, obviously, I'm Khaleesi, these are my dragons. She said it because you did something, okay?
And let's not ignore this. Blake calling Taylor her dragon in a private text, then seeing that phrase pop up in legal filings? Yeah, that wasn't an accident. That was calculated.
He clearly texted and said, you didn't have to do that. You didn't have to have Taylor Swift there to make me look at your edits. And Blake Lively doesn't say, oh, what are you talking about? Taylor Swift said nothing to you. Instead, she doubles and triples down by saying, she's my beautiful little monster.
This wasn't friendship. This was public relations jujitsu, pure and simple. Blake played the victim card, used Taylor as a shield, and set off a media firestorm, while Taylor was just trying to chill and sip her sparkling water.
She read the script, so she involved herself in the script of the movie. Unless she lied, again, just backing up a friend, yeah, what she said, love the move, she must have read Blake Lively's edit. So why is she backing out here? Very carefully worded back out.
Because when your casual text becomes someone else's courtroom lifeline, that's not friendship. That's betrayal at the highest level. And if Blake thought Taylor would just sit there quietly, oh honey, she forgot who she's dealing with. This is Taylor. Look what you made me do, Swift.
He says to her, one of my favorite additions that you came up with was grabbing his director Paul Feig can be heard saying in the recorded commentary playing over the film.
And just when you think the scandal couldn't get worse, boom. A resurfaced video from Blake's movie A Simple Favor explodes across the internet.
And then he said, you really went for it too. And he's laughing, and Lively said, that's always awkward. Hey, nice to meet you. Can I grab your really hard? Not because I want to, but because I feel like my character Emily would.
In it, Blake, during an improvised scene, grabs co-star Henry Golding's private area. No script, no warning, and they laughed about it in the DVD commentary like it was hilarious.
So a source close to Baldoni is quoted here saying that this video will absolutely be used by Justin Baldoni's legal team in the case against Blake.
Now, Baldoni's legal team is having a field day, because if you're accusing someone else of creating an unsafe work environment, maybe don't leave behind literal video evidence of yourself doing something wildly inappropriate.
I think she did apologize after that, but apart from that, she's not known for apologizing to anyone about anything. But apparently now she has apologized to Taylor Swift.
And what's Blake's team doing now? Crickets. No apology, no clarification, nothing but silence while the internet replays that clip on loop.
Mr. Reynolds was a key player in the scheme, defaming Justin around Hollywood, strong-arming WME, their agency, into dropping Justin as a client and trying to destroy Justin's career however possible.
Meanwhile, poor Ryan Reynolds, he's being sued for defamation too because he said he believed Baldoni was unsafe, using the same legal loophole of just my belief.
The Wayfarer party's claims against him are real, and they are serious. Mr. Reynolds can appear on as many sketch shows as he wants and feebly try to make light of his current situation, but we will not stop until he is held accountable for his action.
And now, photos from Ryan's soccer games show him standing completely alone. No teammates, no fans crowding him. It's like emotional social distancing has kicked in hard.
I felt like it was very aggressive, I agree, and I can't fault somebody for wanting to stick up for their partner, but there were parts of it as I was reading it, I couldn't help but feel like it was a bit petty.
And people are asking, is the lively Reynolds dream team crumbling right before our eyes?
Yeah, I think we've noticed over the past couple of weeks even, there have been a few clips that have come out of the woodwork essentially about Ryan that sleuths have found with some kind of problematic moments, and then there's also been the whole kid pool controversy, which definitely doesn't make him look great either.
Blake's facing viral backlash over old videos. Ryan's getting iced out socially. And Taylor plotting her next move. And trust, it's gonna be legendary.
And now junkets. And he can claim jokes or whatever, but to pull random quotes of Justin talking about his teenage years and his growth and maturity and to try to use against him to label him a predator, which none of the quotes did. I actually applaud them for, even though they're not supposed to do it, for making the point to be like, nice try, Reynolds. You have your own quotes. Shut up.
Their once picture-perfect fairy tale is now looking like a PR nightmare, and no amount of snarky tweets or cute selfies will be able to fix this.
That a source told News Nation that they had worked everything out. I don't know how they made that happen, but because it's still obvious that Taylor Swift will be deposed by Brian Friedman in this lawsuit.
So then Blake reportedly apologized to Taylor. Cute, right? Except nobody believes it. Not even Blake's diehard fans.
I find that a little hard to believe because I've never heard Blake Lively apologize to anyone except when she posted something about Princess Kate Middleton when she was battling cancer and she was trying to be funny.
Think about it. Blake Lively, the queen of side-eye and sarcasm, suddenly offering heartfelt apologies? Yeah, we're all side-eyeing right back.
So I don't know what Blake has said to her, that maybe she's sorry that she called her dragon. There's no new pictures of them together. Nothing proves that this is actually true.
There were no heartfelt Instagram captions, no emotional statements, no reunion selfies, just crickets. And Taylor, she stayed silent too, which says everything. Blake's apology smells more like a desperate PR move to soften the inevitable blow when Taylor finally speaks her truth, possibly during that explosive deposition. Because let's be real, Taylor Swift doesn't just write breakup songs, she writes revenge anthems, and Blake might just find herself the subject of the next one.